So I just got this new toy. It's a fun Muk Jum. This is the original Muk Jum wooden man. And so I'm applying Southern Praying Mantis to the Muk Jum. I'm trying to get as much kind of like angular action across the bridge. So instead of just making contact with it, I'm trying to scrape everything. So every time I touch the dummy, I want to do damage. Ultimately not to myself, but to the dummy. So I need to hit it hard enough so that my body adjusts. But I can't hit it too hard or else I can't practice. So I need to be able to do something in between. And Southern Praying Mantis doesn't have a traditional dummy form or something like that. All you're doing is trying to take the skills that you know and then you're trying to apply them to the dummy. So there's not like a set form, but what I'll do is I'll take pieces of different drills and then I'll kind of put them together. So like I start off with these two movements here. Those are really part of one of the 3 pillars of Chowgar Mantis. It's called Doi Jong, or 2-person hit. And so because I don't have a second person, I use the dummy. And I crash the bridge on the inside and the outside. Now Doi Jong has a bunch more movements, but this way I can kind of simulate laying my bridge down on my opponent. Kind of get used to, instead of hitting the arms, putting my body weight into my opponent. So this way, that's me just hitting the arms. But when I practice putting my body weight into my opponent so that I could read better, I bridge. If the dummy had legs and it could move, if it tried to get away, I would stick to it and follow, because I have my forward momentum, forward intention, pushing in on the dummy instead of just, okay? Which it just shows the different mentality of how people train, right? So I'm working on trying to adjust this to my system. So I bridge, okay? Then high slicing bridge, punch. And a lot of the times, you know, if I'm gonna condition my hands, I use like an iron palm bag, or I'll even punch heavy bags that way. This type of striking apparatus, or the spring arm, is really for conditioning your arms. It's for smashing the leaves. This way you can prepare your body for the type of impact that you experience in combat. But these are super fun, and I think that everyone, you know, if you're interested in martial arts, like, you should be able to adapt to whatever tool is thrown at you. So like, I don't like getting stuck in the idea that, you know, there's, you know, boxers can only use heavy bags, and, you know, Chinese martial artists can only use Muk Jum. You got to get out of that. If you want to be a diverse, adaptable martial artist, whatever somebody throws at you, you should be able to do something with it. So whether it be a speed bag, a heavy bag, you know, one of those teardrop bags where you move your head and your body, or a Muk Jum, or an iron palm, like, you should be able to hit all of those things and have some sort of understanding of what the benefits are and how to work it. You get really good in one direction, but over time, you have diminishing returns. So for me, I like whatever I can do to cause me to adapt my skill set to different environments. And if I'm training by myself, you know, like a Muk Jum or a heavy bag or a speed bag or an emperor ring, those are the things that I find quite eclectic and also extremely challenging. Because in combat, you're gonna fall to the level of your drilling, but also if you can't adapt to overcome, it really silos you if you're constantly just training one thing. And for sport fighting, I think it's fine, because like, your pinnacle isn't some sort of self-defense action. But you can adapt you can train adaptability by using different tools. So, I mean, I don't care how weird it is. Like those egg weights in the hands, or I think one of the cool ones was like a rubber band connected to a ball, and the kid was punching it and using that for hand-eye coordination. Yeah, it looks campy, it looks strange, but I guarantee you there's athleticism that is effective to be gained from that, as well as a skill to be used in combat. So, Muk Jum. The other thing is, like, I don't just punch and kick when I practice. I'm also thinking about when I close the distance. So when you're on the Muk Jum, you can think about underhooks. So underhooks are a great way to bridge the gap between chisao and grappling. And so on a dummy, if I make contact, just like I'm collar, collar tie, collar and arm, I got hand control, grabbing the wrist and the head, or like in Muay Thai, grabbing the insides of the arms like this, or hooking over the top. This way I work the underhook. So when I swim, I'm not swimming somebody's arms just to get around on top of their arm to punch them in the face. I'm gonna swim and go straight for that underhook. And I'm gonna reach all the way around, not just here. I'm gonna reach all the way around to try to connect with the lats. So get that one, or get the neck, or just get underneath the shoulders, fine. But when you're striking, in order to maintain that adaptability, you wanna be able to move from hard-hitting striking to sticking. Be able to move into bridging grappling distance. So, or like another thing, because of the leg, I like doing the underhook, or grabbing here and then stepping, work the circle step of the feet, and then pop the hip. Now, granted, getting a leg sweep on someone who's practiced may not very well be a good amount of time, but you never know. Like, you get your opponent tired and they step in and you circle step, you can absolutely take their leg out. So, and this here, that's a throw. I have my arm hooked over theirs, I'm underneath, and then just like turning a steering wheel, I put my foot on the side of their leg and then dump them. Granted, I might step up and then dump it, get closer. And this is just a combination that, like I said, I pieced together a whole bunch of things from my system that I wanted to work on. So bridging, slicing bridge. Slicing bridge is offensive, defensive. I can hit somebody with it. I can open them up. I can block. So touch, open, strike. Now in your boxing or Muay Thai, this, I might bring it back towards my head because I got these big puffy gloves. But when you're doing more self-defense style fighting, it's beneficial that your arms are out and up so you can intercept whatever's coming at you. So 1, 2, eyes out, Busao. And Busao, the spear hand, is not a power punch. It's not a bludgeoning strike, it's a piercing strike. So I want to hit them in the neck. So touch, open the door, then hit. Even though I'm conditioning my forearm, when I hit and shoot, right? I'm still aiming with that one knuckle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once I strike, let's say whether it's offensive or defensive, then I hook. Hit, hook. You see it in like boxing and Muay Thai and other sport arts where you pull the person's hand down and then punch them. It's the same thing. When I hook, I pull their arm down, boom, and then hit. So, just working the same pattern on one side right now. Trying to develop the muscle memory and really be able to hit in small spaces. Create power without having to wind up a whole lot. So. I still find I'm not moving in and back enough. I find myself just standing, rotating. That's good. That's just not what I'm working on. I want to be able to put my body weight and move the dummy. Arms are starting to eat it. Even though like you try to do the best you can not to destroy yourself, it's kind of hard not to. My knuckles are starting to get it and my arms are starting to scratch up pretty good. But I still got more. Haven't quite hit that impact conditioning threshold yet. But if I do and I get some big bruises or something, I'll put the liniment dip that gel, and then I'll rub it into the hematoma to help healing process move a little bit faster. So today's beginning of spring break. My kids are off, which is great. I had a kickboxing client this afternoon. We trained together. That was really good stuff. It's pretty exhausting. Just drilling. Good footwork, good combinations. Getting old, so my hips feel a lot more tight than they used to. Blocking and kicking higher is a little bit more work. But it's always nice to, when you're done, to be able to. You have to be really careful, obviously, when you're training and you're sparring with someone. You really have to build up till you're at a point where your training feels like you're fighting, and your fighting feels like you're training. So after I teach for a while and have to hold back, and you kind of get that itch, like you want to do damage. So after my client left, I've been hitting this thing, just kind of burn off some gas, burn off some steam. But yeah, this is a fun tool, and really the main thing and I think that people just need to understand is that this is not really for your knuckles. Yeah, you can punch it, but you're not really trying to develop your power by hitting this thing. Hitting the arms and then reacting and then striking out at the body, yeah, that's where it's at. You want to be able to, when you make contact with someone, whether you're grappling or you're striking, but if you make contact with them, you want your arms to be like razor blades, like lawnmower blades. You're just gonna smash through whatever. So even if you're in like a clinch, your movements will be tighter and faster and painful. Like you get into some sort of clinch and then you pop your shoulder and cut your arm across their connection. You can hurt them. And so instead of just like, thinking about moving them off of you so you can attack them, smash whatever is touching you, hit them to make it, to break the contact. So instead of it just being like I think like a good example is like when someone has like a collar tie on you and you can use your shoulder to pull it off, you can also hit them on the way when you pull it off. You can also smash the arm when you're pulling it off. So instead of it just being like, oh, he's got my neck, I'm gonna come over and tie up with Russian. Instead of just rolling, smash the arm, smash the head on the way through. So we get some fun things that you can kind of play with the dummy, kind of incorporate more of that, all the different ranges, types of training, whether you're, this is pretty close. And then you get in a little bit tighter and you start doing your underhooks and overhooks. But obviously, every piece of equipment has its limitations. So like, I can't armbar this freaking thing, and I wouldn't want to try. So, not good for jiu-jitsu, right? Great for striking, great for bridging, right? Not the best for it's not a grappling dummy, which I have in the corner over there. That's a great tool for what it is. So, again, like, I like training on a wide variety of equipment. I train in Southern Prairie Mantis Kung Fu, which is a traditional Chinese martial art, but I also do wrestling and boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai and Eskrima. I do lots of different types of training. So I don't like getting stuck with one thing. I want to be able to adapt to anything that's thrown at me. And so, especially as you get older, like, I don't know, I'm 46, 7, I can't remember, somewhere around there. Like I get really good at one piece of equipment, and then I kind of get bored because you can only like keep your attention for so long. And then so I want something else to develop my adaptability, my speed, and also like if you've never done any sort of like impact conditioning on your arms and you've only ever used wraps and gloves and whatever, when you hit one of these things, you will be so shocked at how freaking painful it is. It'll surprise you. It really will. Because if all you've ever hit are bags, and then you come up and you start hitting one of these, like it's gonna feel like a sparring match. Because when you spar, it's bone on bone. It's a lot of unpredictable things happen, and so you make contact in ways that are unnatural, especially if you're used to pad work or bag work. The dummy is gonna give you that sensation of sparring and hitting and striking in a way that I think a lot of other types of equipment can't. So you don't have to be trained in Chinese martial arts to be able to use the Muk Jum. If you want to improve your impact conditioning, get it, figure it out. I think a lot of times people get kind of lost. Like, well, there's this piece of equipment and I don't know how to use it. So I think one of the best things that you can do is, especially as a martial artist, is yeah, it's great to be able to learn how to paint the lines. It's good to learn technique, but I think equally as important is being able to, whatever you know, whatever you've picked up in your life, like adapt it to that striking equipment, because if you do that, then you will exercise that muscle of adaptability of, well, you practice sparring in a sparring match, and then all of a sudden somebody says something to you and they come up to you and, it's not a sparring match anymore. It's something a little bit more aggressive. It's something a little bit unnatural, unfamiliar. then you want to be able to like have that experience of adapting to a situation that's unfamiliar. And I think like dummies like this, or whatever it is, if this is like really familiar to you, you should get really freaking good at a heavy bag. You know, be able to throw a lot of power, be able to use rotational power. So anyway, I like, in my gym, I've got lots of different training equipment. You could see the Muk Jum, you could see all the striking equipment here, wrestling, kung fu. And then you go through the training doors, then there's the rest of it. And you've got all the heavy bags, speed bags, obstacle course, free weights. So it's not just like one thing that I'm trying to get good at. I want to be able to modify my training so it can be adapted to all sorts of different environments, you know? So, get back to it. Second form in Southern Praying Mantis is called three-step shake bridge, Sambo UQ, and it has this combination where you punch and then spear and then pull down. So that one we could adapt it to the dummy. So punch, spear, and then Dao Sao, Yu Sao, Yu Ji, Dao Sao. Trying to feel like at different angles, because usually you come from the outside, and then spear, and cut. Sometimes you come from the inside, spear, cut. It's good to work both, because the forearm hurts. And you may be like, why are you flicking your fingers out? I could just double punch. I could double tap the strike. Sometimes when you throw a punch, you don't always just want to throw the other one immediately. You want to knock the person off balance. So sometimes it's a nice skill to learn. It's like when you when you try to skip a stone. You throw it, and the energy makes the stone skip across the water. And so when you punch, you want to be able to punch in a way where you can skip the power like skipping a stone. It's not a substitute for other methods of striking. It's in addition to. So you may very well like dropping and throwing a jab. You may hook this way by hit, shove, hit, spear, hit, without having to pull my hand back. So it ends up being a very effective addition to your your repertoire. All right, that's it for my live. This is just a bit of training. Thought I'd share it with you. If you stuck around, thanks. I'll do it again. I'll show you a little bit more of me training on this dummy, the other dummy, the heavy bags, things like that. And maybe you can learn a little bit of something, and it might be interesting for you to kind of branch out, try different types of striking equipment. See you next time.